This is AC Starlord, aka Awesome. Welcome back to my channel. And this video is going to be about Transformers 1. And this is an origin story of the Transformers we know and love, like Optimus Prime and Megatron, but he goes by Orion Pax, and Megatron goes by a certain number. I forgot it, but I'm just going to call him Megatron. But Orion Pax has this energy, like this adventurous energy that, you know, he wants to go discover the primes and all this stuff and not like that. And then Megatron just wants to, work and be on protocol because they're minor robot. They're minor robots, so they mine in the Cybertron. Then you have Alita, one that's their like boss and supervisor, and then they meet Bumblebee later on as he's doing scrap. But then also you see their friendship involved and stuff like that, and you see how they were friends at one point. And then this movie shows you the rise and fall of who they're supposed to be. So, meaning the fall of them, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But the fall of them is not a bad thing. It's just the fall of them or not. The fall of who they are now is not what they become towards the end and towards what we know in the franchise. And then they rise up to be who they are. So they both admire the primes, and they do this. They both admire this prime until like and they have the Megatron likes Mega Primus, and that's his favorite one. And they also like the Sentinel Prime, and then Sentinel Prime comes down to do their annual annual race they had on Cybertron. And then Orion Pax, being who he is, adventurous, goes in that race, and then they eventually get off court, and then they eventually try to win the race. And then Sentinel Prime likes what they're doing, and then they get sent down because of one of their supervisors gets sent down with Bumblebee doing scrap metal, and then taking down scrap metal, and then they go on an adventure to find this Allspark, which is also in the very beginning of this movie. He looks up this Allspark thing. It's more like a Matrix, but it's like I call it Allspark because that's what they called it in the live action ones and the rest of the series of cartoons and stuff like that. So they look for this Allspark with Bumblebee and Alita and this moving train, and they find out Sentinel. Then how they looked up to Sentinel Prime, and Sentinel Prime is supposed to be a good guy. They find out that Sentinel Prime is a bad guy, and he does a deal with these other Cybertronian people that want to take all their energon, and and they find out that Sentinel Prime takes their they're kind of like they're all sparks so they can make them transform everyone in the city before they were born. And they put one of the primes back alive. He gives them their transforming power back, and then Megatron just blames everything on Orion Pax, and simply they still have to say they're simply going down to that going from there. They find out the information, they try to save Cybertron, and then Megatron's still ticked off about Sentinel Prime being a bad guy and taking down one of his favorite primes, and Sentinel Prime marks him with that mark, and then eventually he becomes the red-eyed evil the red-eyed evil Megatron. And then we also meet up with these they don't call them Decepticons in here, they call them something else. I forgot what they called them since I saw it yesterday, but still I need to rewatch it. I want to rewatch it. But we meet up with the Decepticons end up teaming up with Optimus Prime or Ryan Pax with Alita to help save Megatron and Bumblebee. And I get Shockwave. You get Shockwave. You get Shockwave, Starstream, and Soundwave, and then you also get the rest of them that they don't have, well, they have names, but they don't really show. They're just background people. So they do that. They go team up and they save the day, and then you see the fall and towards before the fight. You even see the like the fall of Optimus. I mean, the fall of Megatron, of who he was, a nice, general person, to um, Orion Pax, Megatron. I mean, Optimus Prime, and you see him growing into being this bad guy because they used to be they were tight. They're really tight. They're like two brothers basically. How they teased in live action, they used to be brothers, or any other of the comic books or cartoons that used to be really tight. And you see eventually before the fight, you see him trying to like go away from like saving people and like the government and all that other stuff, and you see that very quickly. But with Optimus Prime, you don't see that till like he becomes a Prime towards the end of this movie, and basically he becomes a Prime. He takes, and then basically they take down Sentinel Prime, because they do a very good storyline of Sentinel Prime being the bad guy, because we know that Sentinel Prime, and from the live action movies, that he wasn't a real Prime anyways, he was fake. So they do the very well storyline of that. Then we see Optimus Prime become Optimus Prime, take down Megatron, because Megatron becomes Megatron, and then he banishes him from Cybertron, and that's pretty much the movie in the nutshell. I can't really give out. I don't want to give out too much. There's a lot more to it, but they do a very good storyline. They do a very good job with the movie and the storyline, how they are friends and all stuff. I don't want to give out too much because their friendship is something pure. They had a pure good friendship until they had their before Megatron had his fall and become his rise, and then same thing with him having his fall of being like, okay, I'm just a regular minor bot. The Optimus Prime is just a regular minor bot, but I become this huge hero. Chris Hemsworth does a very good job with the voice towards the end. It's not Peter Collins, but it's in Peter Collins inspired voice. He does his own version of Peter Collins, kind of like how he was Thor. He did his own little Thor voice. But yeah, that is what I see in this. He did a very good job in that. Brian Tyler Henry, he did a very good job being Megatron. It's just an awesome, fantastic film. I highly recommend seeing it. If you're a Transformers fan, go see it this weekend, please. It's awesome. That was one of the things I was worried about, is as being a fan of Optimus Prime, is Chris Hemsworth going to mess this all up? It is his voice for the first half of the movie, but the rest of the last half of the movie, he does his own inspired Peter Collins voice, and it's just awesome. He can play a god of thunder in a Marvel movie. He can play a bad guy in a desert or wasteland. Now he can play a badass robot. So, if you like this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and deuces.